Hi everyone, and welcome back to my urban garden. I'm Tiffany. I'm half of Team Benson, and this is Diamond. Diamond's not the other half of Team Benson, but he is our garden dog, and we love him. So today I'm going to give you guys 4 tips for growing your vegetables in the desert. I'm in Arizona, which is the hot desert, and I'm here in the valley in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm not going to say that I'm an expert at all. This is actually my first year gardening, but I have learned some things and I've done a lot of research, and actually started in October, so I have a couple months underneath my belt, but I just want to share some things that I've learned in hopes that it helps other people. So one of the big things that I want to let everybody know is that I'm growing enough food in my backyard, which is quite small, probably a little under like 200 square feet, in order to not have to buy fresh produce at the grocery store. Every now and then I'll buy a couple things that we might want that I don't grow, like asparagus or artichokes, but for the most part, all of our green leafy vegetables, our okra now is rocking, and our cucumbers and tomatoes, those different things like that, I'm not having to buy. So let's get started. Alright guys, so our backyard is under a lot of construction right now. Right now we are trying to figure out a way and build a structure that is going to hold our shade cloth so it does not get all messed up during the monsoon. So I am in my garden right now, and it is about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's already 80 degrees. And I have my corn over here, and I have my okra plants. Both of these plants love sun, and they actually do really well in the sun. One of the things that I do is you want to provide a lot of water. So I have one of these hoses that extends down, and I actually put it on soaker, and I just let each section get soaked, and I do this once a day. And then if I come out and my plants are drooping, like the squash plant went through some winds. We do not have the shade cloth up right now, so it went through winds and a little bit of heat, so it's a little sad, but with some water it will perk back up. But if I come out in the middle of the afternoon and things look like this, meaning like all of these plants, like the okra isn't happy, which this one's in a bucket, so it gets less water, or I have to water it more, then I just do a light afternoon watering. I don't really soak it, I just basically take the hose and just go from each section to each section. For those of you that have drip irrigation, congratulations, you're doing this well. This is my first year gardening, and I don't have a lot of those things, but I'm okay with that, because you know what, I'm learning. Next thing I want to talk about, which is tip number 2, is mulch. So as you can see, my bean plant, which has been in here since about February or January, is finally done. I actually am getting ready to start some new beans, so then those will take over those bean plants. But I use wood chips. I've heard, and I've done a lot of research that said, you know, wood chips do have the chance of leaching nitrogen in your soil, but as you can see, my plants are pretty darn happy with the wood chips. I also use a lot of wood chips. If you dig down in here, you can see that it takes a while to get to the soil. Actually a long while before you get to the soil. So I use about maybe a 2 to 3 inches of wood chips, and when I'm watering, I notice that this holds the water a lot. If I really do soak my soil like a long period of time, maybe like 5 minutes each section, then I can make it through all day, all the way up until the next day before I have to water again. So tip number 3 is all of those creepy insects that we hate here in the desert, spiders, wasps, even geckos, all of those things that make you cringe, they are now your best friends. So during an Arizona summer, it can reach up to 120 degrees here. I personally feel that even though it's cooler at night, maybe like 100 degrees because there's no sun, I still don't want to really spray neem oil all over my plants because I feel like they're gonna burn. I mean, even if I put oil on myself and walk outside, it's gonna feel a little hot. So what I do instead is I just embrace the desert insects and let them do their things. I'm trying to get it, but this little guy floating around my garden is a wasp. And normally I would be deathly afraid of this wasp, but he is pollinating all of these flowers. So then I can get bees. Now, it used to just be the bees that were back here, which is another big one, but since I put up the shade cloth, the bees didn't really like the shade cloth. So I ended up getting these yellow jackets. And normally I was afraid of those, but as you can see, they're all back here. And all they're doing is just going to pollen. Now I must admit, the first time I saw a scorpion, me and the scorpion were at odds, to say the least. I pretty much ran around this garden screaming. But now that I realize that he eats all of the bad bugs, and the geckos eat all of the bad bugs, that I really don't mind them. I actually name them, they're my friends, I put out water for them, and they keep my garden without any holes in my plants. Tip number 4 is, yes, you guessed it, shade cloth. Lots and lots of shade cloth. Like I said, we are trying to put in a more permanent structure because some of our vegetables have taken a real beating with the wind. But if you look underneath here, now not all of our vegetables do I have covered this much. The ones down there, as you can see, aren't even covered at all, and they're still doing okay even though it's reaching 95 to 100 degrees. The way that the sun hits, it kind of protects them when it's really, really the hottest part of the day. But in the hottest part of the day, this is where my sun hits, which happens to be where my beloved Swiss chard lives. For those of you guys that don't know, and if you have seen my Instagram, I love Swiss chard, and I am making a cookbook that is going to have a few recipes for these in there. And look guys, it has reached 100 degrees already, triple digits for at least a couple days in a row, and my Swiss chard is still not bolted. I also have some kale going on in here, and then I have some bush beans that I just recently planted. If you guys saw my garden tour, you know that I just replanted all of these and these over there. These ones got a little leggy, so I am going to need to put a little stake in them just because the wind is whipping them all around. Now here's a bonus tip for you. When the lovely desert reaches triple digits, you're going to hate everything about it. But if you make your garden an enjoyable place for you to be in, meaning plant lots of green things that you can sit way down, as you can see, I'm sitting below the fence line, then it's going to be a place where you want to be. Also put little trinkets, little things in there that just make you happy, because sitting down here, it's actually cooler than it is if I step outside the gate, and that's because the plants are kind of keeping it cool, probably about like 5 to 10 degrees at times, and probably the wet soil too. But I have all these little different things in my garden that just make me happy, so I actually don't mind being out here even when it's hot. So guys, I hope that helps. Like I said, I am completely not an expert. There's way more people that are really, really good at this. Soon I will be. I'm hoping by the time we move to our land that I will have this gardening thing down packed. So then when I have a 10,000 square foot garden, then everything's gonna grow. But I have been able to produce a lot of things for our family just here in our backyard in the middle of the city. So with the horrible soil, with the hot heat, you know, there's no excuse for you guys not to get out there and just really produce something nice for yourself. If anything, I have taken the complete cost of having to buy fresh herbs. I grow thyme, basil, rosemary, sage, mint, all of those things that cost $1.99 a packet, $1.99 to $2.99 a packet for just a little sprigs of fresh herbs. I now grow an abundance of them. I actually have so many that I'm drying them because I don't know what to do with it all when it's fresh. So I hope that helps. Please subscribe to our channel. It is helping us a lot. Thank you guys for sharing and commenting and liking. I really appreciate you guys following our journey. This is going to be a lot of fun over the next couple of months and couple of years as we put together our homestead. So, bye guys.